Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar today for subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS, Virtual Chief Financial Officer Services Delivery, Session 2. We had the first installment of this series of webinars a couple of weeks ago. You can access that by going to Members Alert and where we've referred to previous webinars, you will be able to click on there and get access to that webinar recording. Today we're going to look at a whole range of issues to try to set the scene as to why you should be seriously looking at really utilizing your subscription to ESS BIZTOOLS to deliver a range of virtual Chief Financial Officer services. I wanted to go through a bit of history to start with. Let's start with the record card of the Australian accounting industry, and this has really been set by the Commbank Accounting Market Pulse report. They've been producing this report for 7 years, and their latest was released late in May 2022. Now, their summary was a very optimistic one. And I know some of you don't quite agree with that, but let's just go through what they said. Firms see endless opportunities. This was based on the 46 accounting firms that they claim are of all different sizes, small, medium, large, and the top 100 firms that are situated all over Australia. So those firms saw endless opportunities. Accountancy services are in high demand. And they commented that accountants are enjoying the best conditions in the last 7 years. In fact, they said for the period that they had been producing Accountants Market Pulse. The report identified that the leading firms are setting the standard in service delivery and client experiences. They're using their technology platforms to differentiate themselves in the marketplace. And they have used digital products or services to develop a cultural advantage. Now, this is giving these firms a significant advantage in the marketplace. They do not indicate to us in the report whether this was 100% answer from the people they surveyed, but hopefully it gives you some idea of what you're up against if you're not one of the firms that have answered very positively to the questions that the Commbank consultants were asking accountants. The report identified that the leading firms in Australia were learning-orientated organisations. I think that's very important because we are continually going into new learning experiences, aren't we? And your accounting firms need to be making sure the team has learnt these new techniques, new ways of doing things. Excellence and innovation are habits, they claim, so that the whole firm is switched on this concept of giving the client an excellent service, but being very innovative. They have financial strengths, which means that they're better able to take risks, and that's important in this time frame, isn't it? They've built up some money in the bank, and they empower their people to find new solutions and uncover unmet client needs. It's not a situation where a young accountant's got to come back and talk it all through with someone a bit more superior or senior in the organization. They've obviously told these people that they can go ahead and implement strategies to help clients. The Commbanks identified the leading firm strategies for the next 3 years based on their responses. They're going to continue to market and develop business development activities. So they're going to keep on moving. So if you're not on an even level with them at present, you're going to fall further behind unless you really start implementing some of these things. They're going to cross-sell and upsell. Now, that's not going to be possible for every one of our clients because some of you are rather small firms, but you might be able to link with other service providers who are not competing with you in your area. Think about it. They're confident in their ability to increase fees because of their market-leading services. So they're banking on the efforts they've made in previous years, on their marketplace reputation, that they will be able to charge more for their services. Can you? I hope you can. And their only limitation they're facing, all of these firms, is the worsening talent shortage. What about your firm? What's your limitations? Is this the only one, the worsening talent shortage? I hope so. It'd be nice, but unfortunately, from some of the comments I'm receiving from accountants around Australia, I suspect that many firms have other issues. But that's what the Commbank's identified. This is the only limitation: worsening talent shortages. It is a virtuous circle that other firms ignore at their peril, was a key comment in the Commbank report. We analysed the expected areas of highest demand in the next 6 to 12 months that were identified in the report. Corporate finance was the highest rating item, which includes mergers and acquisitions. Now, to undertake this sort of work, your client's going to need business plans, budgets, cash flow forecasts, projected balance sheets, all of which are included within ESS BIZTOOLS. And the second highest rating area was business advisory services, which covers a whole range of activities, most of which are included within ESS BIZTOOLS. Debtors analysts, personal property securities register, research and development, grants, exporting, a whole range of activities that are all included within ESS BIZTOOLS. Capital raising, crowdsourced funding, equity raising, early stage innovation company, Section 708 of the Corporations Act, capital raising. We've covered it all within ESS BIZTOOLS to assist you. So our subscribers have got access to the same sort of material that these firms, some of which I hope are our clients, of course, our subscribers. How does your firm relate to these conditions? Are you in agreement with what the Accounting Market Pulse report's saying when they've analysed the market position? The only problem is the talent shortage. Are you keen for some changes to occur so that you can match these standards that have been set by these firms a bit better? So what are you going to do? Do more tax returns or only business-only tax returns, which is what I think is the better strategy? I meant to include into these PowerPoints some of the comments attributed to the tax commissioner at a conference last week, in which he's really warned accountants that the days of lodging wage earner tax returns at the very least are just about over, because the tax office is very confident that they will have the technology in the next 2 to 3 years that all of the information will be inserted direct onto the computer. There'll be very little accounting work to be done. There's a lot of accountants around Australia earning their revenue at this stage from the small end of the market. What's going to happen when these changes are implemented by the tax office? The commissioner was very confident that they know where they're going. He's an ex-partner in a major accounting firm, a top 4 firm. I think he understands the industry, although there's been some comments made in Accountants Daily by some readers that would suggest he doesn't understand the market. I think he might. So there's going to be some big changes. Now, what's going to happen to those accountants out there? It might not be you, but who are going to see their incomes reduced quite significantly if they're concentrating on the wage earner market. Because the commissioner is quite confident that people won't need to see accountants. The technology will do the work. I think a lot of these smaller accounting firms concentrating on tax returns will start looking at other services. And I think there's a fair chance that a number of them will want to get involved in this concept of supplying virtual chief financial officer services. They mightn't even be worried about tax returns and getting into the business market. That's where you're set at this stage, because you're subscribing to ESS BIZTOOLS, which is a product to assist you to offer enhanced ranges services to business clients. I would urge you to be using it to make sure you're able to compete against these other firms that I feel sure are going to be entering into this market in the next 2 to 3 years, if they haven't done so already. So how does your firm relate to these conclusions? If you offered business advisory services, will this assist with your talent attraction and retention and client retention? I hope so. Are you fully offering the business advisory services? Or are you still thinking about it? Please take some action and implement. And we're running a further webinar in October and November on this theme, where we're working through the processes to help you deliver these services. The changes in the marketplace, I think, are going to probably be felt more in the small and medium-sized firms, because the larger firms have other activities normally. So is the technology performing more of the tax return work? Are you noticing that in your firm? Do you think your clients would like you to do more virtual CFO work? And I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a moment. The virtual chief financial officer work is an adaptation of the business advisory services theme that we've been talking about for the last decade. Are you unsure where to start in all this? As a subscriber, please contact us if you are, and we will talk to you or run a Zoom meeting with you to help you. Are you aware of the changes that have occurred in the USA market? I've had a fair bit of contact with the USA firm over the last 2 months. It came about because of a comment made by the Australasian representative for Plan Guru, a chartered accountant, Paul Barnaby, who said to me that Plan Guru, who are producers of a very good software package for budgets, cash flows, and projected balance sheets, had indicated they were very busy in the USA because of the USA accounting market. I said, why? And he said, I don't know, but I'll ask them. We had another conversation a week later. And Paul said to me, they're getting more and more accounting firms coming to them because they want to offer a virtual CFO service. I said, why? And what it transpired was that the technology being used, the software being used by USA accountants, is doing more and more of the taxation function, just like it's starting to do here. And when we talked to Plan Guru, their response was, in the next 18 months, this will fully occur in Australia also. So the American accountants, or some of them, decided that they had to do something different. They wanted to retain their skilled people, but they were running out of work for them. They need them for the tax season, but not as much as what they used to. So they went around, and some of them have developed the virtual CFO services. And we've done some reviewing of our own processes and are fully implementing a range of changes within our system to help you to perform the role of a virtual CFO. Some USA firms are offering virtual CFO service. And the slogan we're using is sometimes we've got to learn from Uncle Sam. I know that not everyone agrees with American approach, but you're probably using American software or a fair bit of it. We're talking more and more like Americans, aren't we? We're eating food that they have pioneered. They're a great free enterprise country. And there's 45,000 accounting firms. So there's a lot more. So the virtual CFO services in USA that we are trying to replicate with some variations in Australia cover the following. The key document or the key product is financial forecasting. That's what the firm that we've been talking to, Summit CPA, model their whole approach on. Now, financial forecasting from our point of view is business planning to start with, so that you've identified with the client what their plan is. The key drivers, the supporting calculations, whether it's inventory, debtors, purchases of raw materials, making sure that there's always going to be raw materials available, or it might be purchases of completed stock, it might be the payroll. There's a whole range of matters that need to be factored in. We're not talking about taking last year's figures and adding 2%. We're saying we've got to work our way back. You need to understand the business of the business to do this. This is interesting and challenging work for you and your team. I don't think you're going to have any talent problems on either attractions or retentions if you fully embrace the concept of virtual Chief Financial Officer services with business advisory services. And then we move into budgets for each operating activity, not the whole business or company. Break it down into its activities. Workshop, wholesale, 5 retail shops or whatever, not all in one P&L. Please break it down so that we can get results out of each individual operations. You can get the key performance indicators so that you can analyze these. The cash flow forecast, which is obviously for the overall group, and the projected balance sheets. Because it's very important that you're able to show your clients what the financial result is going to be in 2, 3, 5 years' time from decisions that they're making today. This is what happens in big companies. Don't our SME clients deserve the same service? They're not going to be paying anywhere near what it costs a big company to have a virtual CFO. Most of your clients are only going to need your service for a few hours each week. But it's a great service which should help them add value to their businesses. The virtual CFO services that we're looking to model from the USA have a monthly work program that the client selects after the financial forecast's been done. That's mandatory. Everyone has to have the financial forecast, the budgets, the cash flows, the business plan. That's the crucial stone on which the whole business has been built. But the monthly work program can say whether you're going to be involved on a weekly, bi-monthly or monthly basis. But that's where the selection finishes. It can't be any more irregular than monthly, because you are acting as if you were the the CFO. And it's very important that there's a monthly board review meeting to consider the financial performance, the overall business performance, the key performance indicators. And in our model, we're submitting to you that you should be suggesting to your clients that you're going to facilitate that meeting to make sure it happens. When Andrew Geddes heard this story of what was happening in America from Summit CPA, where we had Adam Hale, who's one of the joint managing partners of that firm, spoke in a webinar back on the 28th of August. Andrew described it as being a new business model. I think it's going to revolutionize the sector globally. That was great praise from Andrew Geddes. And I think it really highlighted the inspiration that he got from it, that accountants were concentrating on the supply of real services. Incidentally, the firm we've been talking to on all this, which is the Rockstar firm, as the CEO of Plan Guru in America described them, give their clients an election. Who does the tax work? Now, 90% of their clients have elected that some at CPA will attend to their tax, but it could have been a lot lower. They're not making tax mandatory. What they're making mandatory is the financial forecasting. And as Adam Hale said to me, that's where the money is. But it's also very, very important for a client. How many clients have really congratulated you on the preparation of a tax return? Over the years, I never got many, but I got a lot of congratulations and thanks out of business plans, budgets, cash flow forecasts, an idea of what their future valuation of their business might be worth if they can now implement this strategy. That's where they get excited, because they can see the value. So let's just think about Andrew Geddes once more. That was his enthusiastic response. So where are you going to get started on all this? Are you interested? I think you need to be having some team discussions on offering additional business services. I must admit, ESS BIZTOOLS up to this stage, we've concentrated on presenting business advisory services concepts to you, and they're all still part of the deal. Debtors analysis, personal property securities register, buying a business, selling a business, succession planning, government grants, capital raising, crowdsource funding, equity raising, early stage innovation company is all very important, and it's all part of the process. But I've come to the conclusion that this projected financial performance, looking at the future, getting completely away from this recorder of past events, is the real value that we as a profession can be delivering to SME clients. And the technology and the communication tools are there now to enable us to do that. So getting started, identify clients who have asked for more services. Most people tell me that they've had someone say, oh yeah, we'd like you to do this, but we didn't think we could ask you because you were too busy doing those dreaded tax returns. A market that's going to decrease, according to the tax commissioner. Identify clients who you think might be interested. Now, if you want me to put a monetary sum on it, I've toyed with that idea. The Americans are saying $1 million onwards, and their fee base is 1 million to 25 million. Sorry, not their fee base, their income base of their clients that they're looking at. Although they do have some up to $50 million where they act more as a overall consultant advisor for. There is already an in-house chief financial officer. So which clients might be interested? I think it should be every business client. Now, a business client that's only got a turnover of $250,000 a year, you're not going to be able to throw the full package at them. But I think it's very important that we are saying to every business client right from day one, you need to have a plan. You need to have a business plan, a budget, a cash flow forecast, and some idea of what you're trying to achieve. What do you want this business to look like in a couple of years' time? And then you can review the SME needs analysis which is part of the service you've got, to identify services that a client might be interested in. So you can have, and then decide which services you think they might be. Plan how those services could be delivered. Then contact the clients for a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and have a conversation. Work through their needs analysis and get their input. Explain the concept, what you'd like to implement. Review the outcome of those meetings and then prepare to implement. And over the next 2 months, we're going to be taking you through this process. What I want to do today is to encourage you to start thinking about it and to start putting in place a plan. How would you really go ahead with this? Now, none of this is revolutionary. We've been talking about this for 20 years. But I think it's really time that we emphasize that we really want you to use your subscription to ESS BIZTOOLS to make these things work. I know everyone's been through a very difficult 2-year period with COVID, but life goes on, and unfortunately, there are still problems in various ways. We've got rising interest rates, we got inflation that's galloped away, the Reserve Bank didn't see it coming. A lot of our clients are in challenging times and they need additional services. Prepare to implement. So we've got a further webinar on this issue, which I'm calling, Should You Be the Financial Storyteller? I hope you will say yes. I hope you will agree that our prime role should be to explain to a client, if they undertake their activities the way they're planning, this will be the result. And then they've got time to think about it, whether it's fantastic or it's poor. What changes could be made now? Nothing's set in concrete yet. The past has already happened. There's nothing any of us can do about it, other than pay back the loans or pay the tax that may have emerged from those operations. So I would urge you to register for the next webinar on Wednesday, the 19th of October at 11:30 a.m. AEST. Remember, we'll have daylight saving back by then, so that will be 12:30 p.m. in New South Wales, Victoria and Tasmania, and the rest of Australia. You will adjust accordingly. We're broadcasting from Queensland and we still stay on the normal time. Don't know why, but we do. If you've got any questions on the matters that I've raised today, can you send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or you need to talk to me, 1-800-232-088 is a good number to get me on. Thank you for being subscribers to ESS BIZTOOLS. Thank you for your support, and thank you for viewing this webinar. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye. And I hope you have a great day. And if you've got a team in the grand finals of any sport, not just the top league ones, the AFL and the NRL, if your kids or grandkids are playing in a sport, I hope they have a great sporting contest as we go through the grand final times of the football codes around Australia. Stay safe. Goodbye.